Hello, my name is Andy, and this is the Bernhard Perspective for June 12th. In his quest to seize dictatorial power, Donald Trump has declared an energy emergency requiring that environmental laws be waived, a trade emergency that permits him to raise taxes on imports as he sees fit, and a southern border emergency which justifies his deploying active duty troops for civilian law enforcement. He has decreed that the presence of foreign criminals in the United States constitutes an invasion that allows him to deport suspected undocumented immigrants without any pretense of due process. Now, his justification for all of these actions are lies. Before January, the United States was pumping more oil than any time in its history. The country can't pump any more than that. The country's balance of trade had been negative for decades, and illegal border crossings were at a 4-year low. His claim that Venezuelan criminals committing crimes is akin to a foreign army attacking and seizing American territory is absurd on the face of it. Virtually all these actions have been challenged in court and may have been halted for the time being. However, historically, courts have chosen to rule only on their constitutional interpretation of the law and not on the underlying facts. The theory is that because a president has access to information that they do not, judges should not be second-guessing decisions based on what a president claims is true. In the past, Supreme Court justices have not generally assumed the prerogative of challenging a president's assertions of fact. In these cases, however, Trump's assertions are patently false, but he does have this precedent on his side. Now, all of these court challenges will ultimately be decided by our highest court, and if the justices decide to limit their review only to constitutional questions of legality and continue to defer to the president's version of the underlying facts, they could conceivably continue to rule in his favor. And in fact, this has already happened. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson noted this in her comments when the court ruled on May 30th that the administration could revoke the legal status of hundreds of thousands of Haitian, Cuban, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan migrants living here in the U.S. She noted that the government, quote, plainly botched, unquote, its assessment on whether the government or the immigrants would suffer great harm while the administration's mass termination is litigated. In other words, Trump manufactured his facts, but the court ruled in his favor anyway. And if the court continues to rule in this manner, it will open the door for Trump to engage in even more egregious abuses of power, including those that most Americans would consider unthinkable. And he can do this simply by lying to the judges. This very question is currently being addressed as California challenges Trump's sending the National Guard to Los Angeles during the current riots that are happening down there. The Justice Department lawyer in this case argued that Trump had the legal authority to usurp the state's authority over the National Guard, and that the judge had no authority to second-guess Trump's determinations the factual conditions were accurately true. The judge in this case seemed deeply skeptical of that argument, suggesting that it would give the president the power of a king. To quote the judge, "This country was founded in response to a monarchy, and the Constitution is a document of limitations." Now, as of this report, the judge's ruling is pending, and it will be appealed in either case. But the bottom line is this: Donald Trump can lie all he wants and grasp for all the dictatorial power he craves, but only the people are sovereign in America. And the final verdict in all these matters belongs to us, to us alone, and it is up to us to assert our sovereignty if we wish to keep it. We must take care and all necessary steps to protect what is precious to us, what makes America special for us, and what is ours and ours alone. If we do not, if we believe somehow that Donald Trump will just fade away and all will be well, we could lose it all. In a phrase that is often attributed to Thomas Jefferson, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Today is June 12th, and this has been the Bernhard Perspective. Thank you for watching.